how many Christians today, they're always in reverse. They'll get up and say stuff like, I was always a good person. Whenever you hear that, pray for them. They ain't no good. Full of that dead man bone. They do their stuff when ain't nobody around. That's the difference between us and them. We just did ours in the open. They hide and do theirs. You hear me? Whenever you hear that, I was always a good person. Or they say, God know my heart. Ooh, that's bad too. Don't ever say that. Don't you say that ever. Ever. You gonna tell on yourself that we know you don't read the Bible. We know you don't believe the Bible because the Bible say the heart is deceitfully wicked. Who can know it? That's what the Bible say. The Bible said, boy, you got some stuff in your heart, and me too. If left alone, we start to do exactly what we said we wouldn't do 5 years ago. Anybody been there? You were talking about them folks, talking about what you wouldn't do. Give it time. The devil got a will, got everything on it. Now, what he like, he might not like. But if you get to talking about what he doing, sooner or later he gonna stop on something you like. You might not like skinny women. You might like them fat. You can talk all day about a skinny woman. You don't like them. Then again, you might not like women at all. So what you gonna do when something come through? Now we got to hear about how you was molested, how you from over there, your daddy didn't treat you right. But when you were talking about him, you didn't do all that. You know him. You know him. You done seen him. When they stop on them, they got all the excuses. My mama raised me by myself. Who did? My daddy was in jail. Who happened then? Why you didn't say that when you were talking to him? You would drop when you was little. All of us would drop. Can you tell? All of us got battle scars, man. But that's how Christian people do. A lot of them. They was a good person. Because they always measured by the next man on side of them. I ain't never really been that bad. Shh. 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 Look at somebody and say, shh. Some folks was broke. If they could rob the bank and not come to jail, they'd have done it. The only reason that they robbed the bank, because they were scared to go to jail. The law scared them. Ain't because you good. Hear that good stuff? You don't want to suffer the consequences. That don't mean you're good. Right now, if you can smoke you some K2 and not go crazy, get knocked out and all that, and they wouldn't lock you up, you know you do it, some of y'all. Only reason you don't do it right now, because there's trouble. But if you can do it and get away with it, now see, you need help. You need help. Look at somebody and say, you need help. Y'all put your hands together. I'm going to get through. Look at your hands go. Now, see, this how God deals with that old pride. And I always tell me I'm a good person. When God trying to get you to stop doing something, you keep doing it, and you won't stop, he chastening you. That's what he do to the children. Take you to the woodshed. Whop, whop, whop. Give you a good popping. Now, for the unbelievers, look at somebody and say, you got trouble. Come look at us, say for the unbelievers, say, you got trouble. He gonna punish you. He chastened his children, but he punished the unbeliever. See, that's his vindication for righteousness. He smoked them. But for us, he spanks us real good to get what? Because he has brokenness in mind. He's trying to get us to let loose of the sin that's keeping us from getting to where we need to be, that's keeping us from being effective in the earth, that's keeping your family from not coming back together. So he began to go after your attitude and go after that old bad mindset. And he began to spank you and spank you and spank you till you finally say, when a person is broken, God has broken that person's will and brought him submission so he's able to live out the love of God, the mercy of God, the peace of God. The life of Christ begins to be displayed in their life. You know what I have heard many men and women everywhere preach, a lot of places. And a lot of times these people got on $1,000, $2,000 suits, $1,000 shoes, Rolex watches, riding good. They were eloquent speakers. You hear me? Eloquent speakers. They knew all the ins and outs. But what they said never touched my heart, never penetrated my soul. There was no anointing. Because God is not interested in eloquence. He's interested in a surrendered heart and a broken heart, somebody he can work through. His power can rest on. Listen to me. This is the gospel truth. If you're broken, God will use you mightily, and God will bless you in spite of what has gone on in your life. He'll turn it around. Look at Moses. I'm closing. He left Egypt for killing a man. He refused to enjoy sin for a season. And God worked on him. He ran off into the desert. God worked on him for 40 years so he could lead his children out of captivity. They had been slaves, getting beat to death for 400 years, building Pharaoh treasure cities, making brick with no straw, getting beat to death by the Egyptian taskmasters. Moses left Egypt, and the process began. Many of you have left Egypt, you left the world. Now the process has begun. But you got to respond the right way to the process. Too many of us trying to abort the process. You in it now. You got to go with it. God molded Moses into a shepherd. Sent him on the backside of the mountain to be what? To get him ready to be what? The president? No. To be a politician? No. To be an activist? No. To stand up for Black Lives Matter? No. To fight for women's rights? No. To kill a baby? No. God molded him into a shepherd. He broke him and made him into the man he could use. 40 years on the backside of the desert, what was he doing? Molding him, sanding him, shaping him, breaking off the pride, breaking off Egypt, taking the world out of him till he was all gone, till all that was gone, till he became a nobody who he was going to turn into a somebody. And you might be in here today, and you might be set up in here, and God is shaping you, he's molding you, he's grinding you, he's breaking you till you'll be a nobody, and he's going to turn you into a somebody. Somebody shout glory and give God some praise. Look at Peter. Look at Peter. God had to break him and break him and break him and break him so it could be useful. A great king, a great man of God, a great leader. Peter tried to correct Jesus in Matthew 16. He said, you know, they're going to crucify me. He said, no, 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 Lord. Heaven forbid, Lord. He said, it'll never happen. And Jesus said, get thee behind me, Satan. You're offense to me. You really don't care about the things of God. All you care about is the things of man. Do you remember when Jesus tried to wash his feet?